Hey everybody, today we come with another rundown on the C pre-processing tricks, pre-processing macros. So don't mess with it. It's a downward spiral to insanity. It will make your it'll make your veins high in pressure. I don't know what to say about it. It's just very complicated and it's that it can do anything with it. So today our topic is having to declare array without commas. So let's jump into it. So before beginning, let's start at where we are in the iceberg of C prepop macros. So at the middle of the iceberg, overloading macros based on argument count. So that's basically what we're going to do. We're going to basically, so okay, a lot of talks, a lot of rhetorics. Let's get to the point real quick. And to show you what we are going to approach and what we're going to solve today, let's say we have an array, right? So the typical declaration of array, let's say it's of zeros and ones, is 1 0 1 0 1 0 and so on with commas. So this is our array. Now what we want to do is basically we want to define a macro, let's say bin, and okay, we have to define bin, and bit takes some arguments, and it basically allows us to do this. Instead of the commas, we can just do bin 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 0, and we can have this kind of declaration. So how is that possible? How do we get to it? Alright, this is very simple. So for the baseline of the concept is that one is a token in the eyes of the C preprocessor, and we concatenate with another token that expands to the token itself followed by a comma. So let's say, so since we have only zeros and ones, we can define in 0 which is going to expand to 0, and in 1 which is going to expand to 1. Now what we have to do, we have to concatenate this. So we define our bin function. Let's say it has a string, and it n, and it concatenate with the a. So if when it's 1, the expand the macro in 0 is expanded. When it's 1, it's in 1 expanded to the 1 followed by a comma, and va args. And since we now let's define a stringify macro, which is I'm gonna copy from here, the previous video, and let's place it here. So let's include std in. Since we want to use printf, let's stringify it and bin 01010 and give it a new line, and let's compile it. Is stdi. Oh wow. Oh, we need to replace our VARs with VA. Alright, so as you can see, the there is a comma at the first argument, so it expanded the first element of the string into the 0. So we want to do for all of them. And now here comes the recursive part. We want to give the second argument string, which is still a string, to the function itself. So we can't really do that in C directly. So there's some indirective primitives that we have to inherit. So let's see. A function that takes, so let's define f1, which is gonna have just one argument, and it is going to call f1 with this one. So we define f1 with variadic numbers of argument, and we give the first, so a followed by comma, and we call bin a vargs, right? And instead of this, alright, this sounds good. Now let's define f2, because we want to do the second argument. So the same way, f2, it's gonna call f2, and f2, and it basically calls bin. And now let's run bin pass to f1. And as you can see, 3 of the arguments have been put some commas, have been added commas. So let's define some more. Let's define f3, and we're gonna call f3 from here. And as you can see, all of our arguments are now commaed. Now let's define bin again. Yeah, so define bin and it will call bin vargs and in bin bin1 it is basically going to, alright, we don't need that, bin, and it is going to call bin vargs and on top of f1. So omit that f1. Let's see. Alright, so our problem was that we were not referencing the new name. Now when we have bin and we call bin like that and see what happens. As you can see, it is now putting commas at the end of every binary digit. Now we can finally, so we do this to declare arrays. Now we do this instead of declaring arrays. Look, we don't have, so we don't have any commas. So let's do some more with F3. So it's gonna call F4 and F4 4 4. Alright, as you can see, it compiles, an array is set. Let's print the array 1 2 3 4 5 6. As you can see, our array is being printed out. So that's pretty much it for this video. We are really close to 100 subs, so 100 sub will be really awesome and my first milestone. So please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.